Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I want to show you guys different things that you can do with your Phalaenopsis orchids once the flowers fade and once they fall. So it's June, and in May you guys probably got some Phalaenopsis orchids as Mother's Day gifts, and now you have this beautiful orchid that once had flowers and you have no idea what to do with it. Well, I'm going to give you some different different options that you can do to make them rebloom, and how you can keep that orchid for hopefully many years. So if you are a beginner and you have no idea what to do, this video will be helpful for you. And if you live somewhere tropical, if you have trees and you have the desire to want to attach, I also want to encourage you to do so, because there's nothing better than walking out and seeing some gorgeous blooms growing on your tree. So if this is an option for you, and this is something that you can do in your climate. I do have many videos that I've made on how I attach Phalaenopsis orchids to trees. I'm not going to get into it because in this video, because this video is just going to focus on just different options that you have once your phals, once the flowers fade, what you can do with your Phalaenopsis orchid to save it. All right, so one of the options, like I said, now since I'm out here, is that you can attach it. And this phal here, I attached it maybe a couple years ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, and it's already rebloomed for me. And it has rebloomed many times since I attached. I mean, as you can see, I have many different orchids growing on my palms. So it is something that you can do very easily. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see. If you have a textured tree in your yard, this here is a Christmas palm. So if you have anything that has textures, which is not smooth, the Phalaenopsis orchids will love it. Immediately in a few months, they will already start attaching its roots to the tree. So this is my favorite option to do with Phalaenopsis orchids, because I enjoy them being attached to my palms. So if you're able to do so, you can always save that phal that you got and attach it. And it's very easily done. You just need a knee-high or any green tying wrap. Knee-highs are they will disintegrate, so don't worry about them looking ugly. But you can get let's say this green wire, or you can use a knee-high to attach it. My favorite is the knee-high because it will hold the bulkiness of the root system. So that is a great option if you're able to do that, to be able to save and rebloom that phal. All right, so now I'm going to walk under my terrace where I have a table set up with all of the different Phalaenopsis orchids that I have. I have some that are ready to get remounted, so I'm going to show you what that looks like when they fall off the palm and they're ready to get just remounted. So here is my table. All right, so here's my table of all my different phals. And these are just going to get remounted. That's why they look like that. They were originally on my trees, but I had to remove them. They weren't looking so healthy, and now I have green roots again, so they are ready to be attached again. And some of them even have reblooms on them. I mean, look at this one. This one rebloomed for me. You see, if you were to throw out that orchid that you thought was dead, you will never have reblooms again. All right, so here I have some phals that I got for Mother's Day. Now, if you are not in a tropical climate and you need to keep it potted and you want to save it, that is also a great option. So my recommendation for you is to always save the clear container that it came in, because this way you can take a good look at the root system. Okay, if you feel like it's too big for the pot, maybe something like this. If you feel like it's too big and you want to get a new pot for it and you want to repot it, you can. Just make sure that when you remove it from the clear container, that you're very careful with the roots so you don't damage them. And you just get some fresh media. You can use sphagnum moss, which is my favorite type of media, which is this one right here. Or you can use bark chips, depending on your climate. If you prefer, you can also use some bark chips, which is also a really good media for them, which is right over here. Okay, those are the bark chips. Never soil, never use soil on your orchids. Just use the proper media for orchids. All right, so now that you have no flowers and you have a green spike, now do you want to keep it or do you want to remove it? My recommendation to you is that you leave it, because many times this green flower spike will rebloom from the same spike. Okay, many times. I never remove it. If it's green, I leave it. Now, if it's dry or any little dry stem like this, I do remove. Let me give you an example. So if you have a spike like this that is dried up, I would remove it unless the secondary spikes that are attached to it are starting to bud up and rebloom. Okay, like this one, for example, was never removed, and I have some new flowers. So that's up to you. Some growers like to remove the flower spikes just so that the orchid can preserve the energy and concentrate on growth. Others leave it. I like to leave it and have it rebloom for me. All right, so basically what you want to do is that you want to leave it inside the clear container. You want to get some fresh media in here if you're going to repot. You want to water once a week or whenever you feel it's necessary. Normally it's once a week. You can actually feel it by the weight of the pot if it needs to get watered. Or you can actually, the way I like to do it, I like to see inside to make sure that the roots are still green. If they're still green, no water is needed. If they're silverish gray like this one and it's inside the pot, then they do need to get watered. Okay, I would then place it in an east-facing window that is filtered. It does need bright light, but it needs to be filtered. So either if you have a smoky window or if you have some type of curtain in front of it that will filter out all that brightness, that's where you want to place it, in an east-facing window that it can get enough light. And then you want to fertilize it. Try to fertilize maybe once or every other week. Just so you can give it some nutrients, and that's it. When you water, do not water over the plant. Always water directly in the root system. And you don't want to water like many South Floridians do with ice cubes. Not when you have them and you're trying to make them rebloom. You only want to do ice cubes if necessary when you have them as decorations and then they're inside an arrangement and you don't want to remove everything. That's the only time where in South Florida you can do that. I've done it, many others have done it, and it's been successful. But as far as just the watering routine, you don't never want to do ice cubes. You always want to place it under the sink, let the lukewarm water run through it, and then put it aside. So no ice cubes, just lukewarm water. All right. Another option that you have is that you can mount it, and I've chosen to mount it on a wood basket. Now this one is a few years old, and this is why these leaves are like that. But as you can see, I do have some new growths. And this one here has already free bloom for me since she's been in the basket. I like to do the sphagnum moss in the basket just because of my climate. Others like to do some bark chips or a mix. And as you can see the roots peeking through. They're nice and healthy. So she does like to be inside this mount. Now I like to mount it because I don't like it to be in the way, and I just hang it somewhere under my terrace. All right, so these are different options that you have when you have some phals, especially if you're a beginner. And especially if you're a beginner and you don't know what to do, there's many different options that you have. You can either keep them potted, you can mount them, or you can attach them on your palm. So really quick before I go, I'm gonna show you what I use to fertilize my Phalaenopsis orchids. And this is what I normally use. Now you can purchase any 20-20-20 complete fertilizer on Amazon. There's one that's really good by Peters something. I'm gonna link it below. It's really good. I've used it before. I just don't know exactly the name. But this one I bought at a local nursery just because it was easy for me. But the 20-20 fertilizer works great. For phals, I like to do a light feed. So that's half a teaspoon per gallon of the 20-20-20 once a week. I also like to add to the mixture some Epsom salt. So if I'm gonna be doing half a teaspoon, I would do a 1/4 teaspoon of Epsom salt. So, and if you're gonna do 1 teaspoon, you're gonna do one teaspoon, you wanna do half a teaspoon. So always half of whatever your measurements will be for the fertilizing. And then every other week, I like to add some seaweed kelp to the mixture. And for this, I use 1 teaspoon per gallon. So 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of the Epsom salt. I will link everything down below for your convenience. And The product links will also be there if you want to get them from Amazon. If you want to get them anywhere else, that's fine too. I've just made it convenient for you. So here I have my orchids acclimating. This is something that you want to do before you attach them to the palms, just because that way they can get used to the heat, they can get used to being outdoors, and when you attach them, they won't go into shock or anything. And I also have some more mounted here. I'm getting ready to fertilize. All right, so I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that if you're a beginner, you do not throw away your phals. Don't throw away your orchids because they will rebloom. If you don't want to keep it, you can always give it to somebody. But if you decide to keep them, it is no better feeling than when you have an orchid rebloom for you. And if you decide to attach, don't be scared. They love to be attached. They love to be on palms. I mean, look at mine over here, and they look so pretty as just you walk out here and everything looks nicely decorated with flowers. So that's it, you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, leave them down below and I will answer you. And that's it. I will see you soon in my next video. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Mwah.